All right, let's get right into it. Today we're diving into what is, without a doubt, the most consequential part of the European Union's landmark AI Act. This is where the rules get serious, the stakes get really high, and where the future of AI development starts to get very, very real.
So the EU has gone and done it. For the first time ever, we have a comprehensive, legally binding rulebook for artificial intelligence. And make no mistake, this isn't just some friendly set of guidelines. This is a new global standard, and it's going to have ripple effects far, far beyond Europe.
But here's where it gets really smart. The law totally gets that an AI recommending you a movie is fundamentally different from one that's, say, helping a doctor perform surgery. It doesn't just lump every single AI system into the same bucket.
The whole thing is built around this core idea, a risk-based approach. The best way to think about it is like a ladder. Down at the bottom, you've got minimal risk stuff, like spam filters, and they're pretty much left alone. Way up at the very top, you have what's called unacceptable AI. That stuff is just banned outright. And our focus today, it's right there, near the top of that ladder.
Yep, pretty much all of the heavy lifting, the strictest rules, the most intense scrutiny, it all falls on this one single category, high-risk AI. And honestly, if you can get your head around this category, you basically understand the whole regulation.
So what exactly makes an AI system high risk? Well, thankfully, it's not just some vague feeling. The law is super specific. There are two main roads an AI can go down to land in this high-risk category.
And the big difference really boils down to this. Is the AI a critical safety part of a product that we already regulate? Or is it a standalone system that's being used for something really important in society? Let's break that down.
So here you can see those two paths pretty clearly. On one side, under what's called Annex I, you have AI as a safety component. Think of the smarts inside a surgical robot. Then, on the other side, under Annex III, you have standalone systems used in really critical areas, things like biometric ID, managing the power grid, or even software that filters your resume.
Okay, let's tackle that first category. This one is probably the more straightforward of the two. We're talking about AI systems that are built into products we already regulate very, very carefully for safety. So here's the bottom line. If an AI system is a safety feature inside something like a medical device or a car, and that product already needs a safety check from an outside party, then boom, that AI component is automatically considered high risk. It's that crucial black box that has to meet the absolute highest standards. Now, on to category 2. This is where things get a lot broader and where it starts to impact our everyday lives a lot more. This is all about those standalone AI systems being used in some really sensitive parts of our society.
And I mean, just look at this list. These are things we can all relate to. We're talking about AI that could decide if you get a job interview, that helps manage our water supply, that influences who gets into college, or that's used in the justice system. The potential for real harm to our rights is pretty significant, and that's exactly why these are all flagged as high risk.
So this brings up a really good question, right? Does this mean every single piece of software an HR manager or a teacher uses is automatically high risk? Well, the answer is not necessarily. The law has some really important exceptions built in.
So an AI system can actually dodge that high-risk label if it doesn't really have a major say in the final decision. For instance, if it's just doing a background task like organizing files, or if it's just improving a document a person has already written, or maybe just flagging something weird for a human to check out, it might get a pass. The key here is that a human is still firmly in the driver's seat for that final important decision.
But, and this is a really big but, there's one massive red line. If an AI system is used for what the law calls profiling, automatically making judgments or predictions about someone's job performance, their finances, their health, then it is always considered high risk. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. No exceptions.
Okay, so what happens if you're a company and you build an AI that officially gets that high-risk label? Well, now you have to run what you could call a regulatory gauntlet. It's a whole checklist of strict, mandatory rules you have to follow before that system can ever be used.
And this is basically their to-do list. They have to set up a system to manage risks for the AI's entire life. They've got to make sure their training data is high quality and as free from bias as possible. They need to create a mountain of technical paperwork, design it so a human can actually keep an eye on it, and promise that it's accurate, tough, and secure. It's like all these different gears have to lock into place perfectly to create a system we can trust. And let's just zoom in on that first requirement.
This risk management system, it's not a one-time check. It's a non-stop process. Providers have to be constantly looking for, judging, and fixing risks, not just before they launch it, but for the entire time that AI is out there in the world.
And the law is absolutely crystal clear about keeping people in control. This quote right here from Article 14, that is not a friendly suggestion. That's a legal order. The system has to be built so that a real person can watch what it's doing, understand it, and if something goes wrong, step in and shut it down.
So why does all this matter so much? Well, because the consequences for getting this wrong are just massive, both for us as a society and for the companies building this tech.
For the companies, the financial hit can be huge. If they don't follow the rules for high-risk AI, we're talking about fines of up to 15 million euros, or 3% of their total worldwide annual revenue, and they have to pay whichever is higher. Yeah, that's a number that gets everyone's attention real fast.
And that really brings us to the final big question here. This whole approach is designed to build trust and protect our rates. But will it actually work? Is this going to create the safest, most trustworthy AI in the world? Or will all these tough requirements accidentally build a fortress around innovation that ends up stifling it? That is the billion-dollar question, and I guess we're all about to find out.